Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. This week, we have an awesome guest. My friend Carly Zucker is coming in hot because we have a lot to talk about, because not only is she well known, you know her from K-Fan, and also when she used to do all of her slew of sports reporting and broadcasting herself, she now has a new podcast. So we're going to get into all of that. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. It's always so fun to see you.
Oh, it is. Jim, I know that you're kind of outmatched today,
Yep.
2-1.
I'm always outmatched.
Yeah, you're outmatched.
Even when it's one-on-one, I'm outmatched. So I'm used to it.
Oh, really?
We like that you're here, though. We're glad you're here.
You know, I don't know. I even have a role here, but I'm a good audience.
Yep.
Oh, you always have a role. Please do not sell yourself short.
Okay, well, I will actually play my role right now. I'll let what people in the business call the furniture. I'll deal with that and let you get back to your conversation with Carly. This is Dawn of Sports. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. Want to thank our longtime sponsor, Rudy Luther Toyota. Also want to thank Minnesota Masonic Charities and the ad that Dawn can't wait for me to read.
Your best friend.
Which is Natrium, natrium.com. We'll tell you more about them later. If you like the show or you like any show at talknorth.com, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. And you should know the lineup by now. Randy Shaver, John Millay, Jeff Diamond, John Krasinski, Roy Smalley, Lavelle E. Neal III, Kevin Gorg, the Bar Down Beauties, John Millay, and all of our outdoor content as well. Check it out at talknorth.com. Take it away, Dawn.
Wow. I kind of feel humbled after hearing that whole list.
That's a great list of people.
You know, before we get into talking about all of the stuff that you're doing, and it's very important stuff.
Yeah,
I just wanted to tell people, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know that you're also a sports fan, and
Yes.
there's so much going on right now. Vikings 5-0 coming off the bye week, the Lynx coming back home here in the WNBA finals, Timberwolves starting up. What is your favorite when you have a moment? Because I know you have kids, you've got a business, you've got life going on, but what do you follow the most?
Right now, Vikings and definitely Timberwolves. Lynx always I stay up to beat on, but I think what's been so fun about the Vikings is how unexpected. And everybody's saying that, but it is true. We didn't go into this season, when you looked at the schedule, you didn't think, oh, we're going to start 5-0. And the fact that we have, and it's kind of unexpected, especially for a longtime Minnesota sports fan, is really, really fun.
Are you waiting for the other shoe to drop, or do you believe?
I believe.
Okay.
I'm all in. No, I'm not waiting for that shoe to drop. I'm all in. Yeah.
Jim, are you waiting for the shoe to drop, or are you all in? You're actually kind of on the upside when it comes to this team this year.
Well, first of all, as Carly said, unexpected success is always the most fun, isn't it? Because there's no pressure attached to it. It's just this gift you get. And I really think the Vikings and the Lynx have amazing parallels between going out and getting underappreciated free agents and being way better than anybody would have expected them to. I hate to be a wimp, but I'm kind of in the middle. I expect them to make the playoffs. I think they're a legitimately good team. The real question is, can they maintain this fever pitch? Can Darnold hold it together for an entire season, which he's never done before? Can they avoid the kind of injuries that destroy your season? So I think they're good. I think they're legitimate. But I don't know what the high end is going to look like a month or two from now.
You know, what was really interesting in the locker room yesterday, more than one player, and mostly on the defensive side, only because they get out of their meetings first, and that's who we talk to, they were saying that they know it's also a time that they have to get back in that mindset that they had at the beginning of the season when they called it was the gauntlet to start, you know, when they're looking at all the teams coming out of the gate, the 49ers, you name it. They said, and now we're clicking back into that mindset because we know know that people are gunning for us, and we don't want that to be an unfamiliar position to be in. So the fact that they're not believing their own hype, and they're not. Most people I asked, even Cam Bynum, they're not even watching TV shows. They don't care what the people have to say. I mean, the mindset like that is kind of cool then, especially if you hear that as a fan and someone that knows the business, right?
Yeah, they can't let their foot off the gas at this point, and especially make the assumption that things are just going to go in their favor. Because, people are going to be gunning for them. And that's the injuries are the toughest thing. I hate to even say that word, but everything becomes unpredictable when you add in injuries. But, and I'm looking forward to the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I love the Timberwolves. I'm such a big fan. I was working for them when Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins signed on, and that first season, and how tough it was for a few years, for many years there as a Timberwolves fan. So it's been fun the last couple years.
Yeah, it has. And not only is kind of like Ant taking it on him.
And a personality unlike any other.
Yes, and they're letting the crowd have that personality too, So I know we've heard about the rebranding over and over again, but when you look at the talent and just the fun that we had along the way, I think it's going to be another good year. And you got the Lynx and the Wild are starting. I mean, it's fall, so it's like I like to say the blender on high, lid off, right? And that's kind of like going into having kids. I mean, you've got 3 beautiful children, and I don't know how you do it.
It's a challenge this year. Yeah, it very much is. So 3 kids, Stella, Hendrix, and Sophia, and we're kindergarten, first grade, and freshman year of high school.
Wow.
And then obviously Jason and I are divorced now, and he is living out in Buffalo. So I have the kids full time here. So that is
sounds hard.
So that is hard. Yeah. So that is hard. But we're making it work. Getting a routine, figuring it out. So yeah. But they're a fun bunch. They're fun. They're really fun kids.
So how is it to have a daughter that's in high school? It sounds weird. I'm looking at you and I'm like, that's impossible.
Thank you. I feel like it's impossible. I'm like, there's no possible way I have a high schooler. It's bizarre because I think back to when I was in high school, and she's a much better kid than I ever was. But she is it's so weird to have a child of that age. And she's going to start driving soon. And I don't know, because you feel like, and you don't realize this until you're older, right?
Yeah.
But they tell you, you're always going to feel like you're young, or you're always going to feel, and it's true. Yeah, I feel like I'm way too young to have a high schooler, and you just never think you're old enough.
I've put it off for a long time.
Yeah. Like, when does that happen?
You recommend continuing to do that, right?
Yeah. When will I turn into an adult? No. So having a high schooler has been a change, but it's really fun.
Have you ever heard some words come out of your mouth that you never thought would come out of your mouth that you thought only belonged to your parents?
100%. I'm sure.
I do that and I don't even have kids. I'm like, oh my God, I'm becoming my mom.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely say things where I'm like, oh my God. I just put my head down and I'm like, I embarrass her a lot, which is fun.
Well, that's your hobby.
I know.
have
and
to.
That's what's so great is when she has friends over and things like that. I'm always doing something and she is constantly embarrassed. And I'm like, how could I embarrass you? I love it. Cool.
Oh yeah, and you throw out all the slang and Mom, no, don't do that.
That was last week.
Yeah. When I
we
try
don't use
to
that
use
word
her
anymore.
slang, that's the best. Yes, I'm like, that's sus. She's like, no, you're not allowed to use that.
Well, what I'm most proud of you, not only being a mom, and your kids are just so awesome and beautiful, but you're also so open with everything that's going on. You have your own podcast. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. I love that. Here we go. All right, just dig in. And And you're really talking through everything that you've been through. And first of all, I want to give you kudos, because anyone that has gone through a divorce and has to co-parent from different cities.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the first different city, right? Because he was playing in Arizona, and just like the traveling show, that you have to do with your family. I just want to come out first and just say that that's impressive, to have really well-adjusted children, to handle it like adults, and to have, you look on social media, they're happy.
Yeah, they are. They're really happy kids. And that's all that matters, right? At the end of the day, is you just want your kids to be happy, and they are happy kids.
And you've been through a lot yourself.
Yeah.
And so you're so brave to be open about it. What was the genesis to say, all right, here we go. I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid, and I'm going to say everything that I've gone through?
I had felt like I had been pretty open on the radio.
Yeah.
My whole life, or my adult years, that I'd been on the radio, or I'd been in public, whether it was on social media or the radio, that I had been pretty open. And then when I went to treatment, which I talk about in the podcast, which I went to treatment for 80 days for mental health and substance. And I felt like I started hiding again, or I started hiding. And I felt like I didn't want to see people. I was isolating. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was embarrassed, whatever it was. I isolated for a very, very long time. And so this was an opportunity for me to say, I'm not ashamed of what I've gone through. It's something I want to share, and something I want to almost build this community around, because the one thing I continue to hear as I share my story, or as I talk to people, is I have a family member, or this was me, or I've felt this, or everybody's connection to these things, and how alone you feel when you're going through it. And so for me, it was so important to start speaking about it, to build a community, a real community where we can lean on each other, and then also bring myself back out from this place of isolation.
Because that's not at the heart of who you are, an isolator, right?
No.
You're a people person.
Yeah.
So you've kind of probably felt like you weren't being true to yourself on that level too. And that hurts, and a whole different thing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it caused a lot of depression, anxiety for me, because I was spending so much time just by myself at home. Like, I'd get the kids to where they needed to be, take care of what needed to be done. But I didn't have a full-time job at the time. So I would spend so much time where it was just me at home. And that caused so much anxiety and depression for me.
How did you make your way through that?
I'm still figuring it out. Let's be honest. I'm still figuring it out. I'm very fortunate to have really, really good family and friends, really, really good family, who basically were like, we're not going to let you fail, through any of this. And so I've had them. And then again, wanting to do this podcast kept me focused on something that potentially could be a greater good, that could help other people as well. And that's also at the heart of what I want to do in life. Is I'm a people person, but I also want to be able to help other people and use my story to help people and make people feel less alone. And so I mean, I'm still figuring it out, but I think the more that we share, the more therapeutic it is for me to talk about it, things like this. The more I talk about it, the more I share, the more people I meet, it becomes easier and easier.
People think, oh, Carly, she has this glamorous life, right? Yeah. She's gorgeous. She's so confident when she's on the radio with the guys. And sometimes when you are willing to put yourself out there, when we all have issues we have to deal with, that's where you feel like everybody's looking at me now, right? How did that hurt more? Because some people won't understand. Well, how could that happen to her? Or how does she doubt herself? She's gorgeous. And then you have to deal with all the people that when things are great and you're hearing from them, all of a sudden, I'm sure some people turned, the trolls, all that stuff. Suddenly your life becomes fodder for them to try to be funny. Yeah. I don't think people understand the magnification of the glare sometimes.
Yeah, I would say, and people are so many things, right? Like, I do feel I am confident and I do feel good about myself, but then there's also other pieces of me that struggle with mental health or substance, so it's like we're just built of so many different pieces as people. And I guess like locally, I look at it like this. In Minnesota, been relatively well known. You know what I mean? Like if I went to Texas, nobody's really going to know who I am. But here, I've been relatively well known. And that has been somewhat difficult. I think mental health also doesn't care what you look like, how much money you have, any of that. It can hit you, it can hit you hard. Trauma is trauma. And if you're dealing with that can lead to mental health issues. So it's like, no matter how great somebody's life looks, that stuff doesn't really matter if you lack coping skills and you lack the ability to handle your mental health. I will say, as far as the public, like right now, everybody's been really wonderful. I used to care and pay a lot more attention to the comments so if I made a post and there were 100 comments and one of them was negative, I would be like, that's the one I'm going to live on,
Right.
That's the one I'm going to pay attention to. And if they said they hate my voice on the radio, but 100 other ones were like, that was really fun, I'm going to pay attention to the one negative. And that's how I lived for a long time. And I don't do that anymore. And that's really important, I think. But I would almost look for the negative, look for the bad, because it affirmed how I felt about myself. It affirmed,
like, see, that's right.
Yes,
right
like,
there.
see, you are this person. See, you are a crappy person. Oh, see, you are this person. And so I would look for what affirmed that in me, my worth, what I felt. And so but I will say, at least since I released the podcast, it has become a beautiful community of support.
I think that's a thing. If you have a sensitive heart and you're a kind person, right? I think sometimes people that get into this side of the business, there is some of that, you maybe you're intuitive. It's so when you open yourself up, you're so vulnerable. And I remember when I even first started in the business, I wasn't ready for that. And this was before social media. It was answering machines at the TV station, right?
Oh, yeah.
And on the late night shift, we would listen to them, right? And then they would say these, some are nice, but then these horrible things. And I remember one day my boss, because I was telling him about, he's like, why are you all of a sudden saying center field? Just say center field like you normally do. I go, well, somebody on the answering machine message says that I don't enunciate correctly. He goes, it sounds weird. Like, I'm your boss. I'm signing your checks. Just talk normal.
Just do you.
I don't want you to have perfect English. Like, it's weird. And I said, oh, okay. And so when he said that, he goes, don't pay attention to those people. They're not signing your checks, first of all. If I tell you something, I want you to because I'm your boss. And recently I saw something. They say if you wouldn't seek advice from that person, don't listen to what they say. Or when you said something so powerful, like you would live on that. I'm like, I see it as sometimes they hand you like this heavy coat and you just wear it. And someone goes, you can look at the coat and be like, well, I don't like that. And just kind of leave it and not wear it. So, and
if you wouldn't hire them as a consultant,
correct, right?
What does it matter?
Right.
And now you know that sometimes they're just, I always think they're probably in their mom's basement.
Oh, right. And I mean, I almost have compassion for them at the time where I feel like there's a reason they have to make someone else feel so bad, or try to make someone else feel so bad. And so it's like trying to have a lot more compassion for people than before. And now I just don't dwell on now I'm just like, you know what? I have my circle. I have the people who support me. I have the people I'd go to for advice. And that's the group that matters.
So when you started the podcast and you said, I'm going to, saying that you're going to do something and then actually ripping that Band-Aid off and doing it, because you kind of relive it again.
Yes.
Were you ready for some of these things that hit you?
I I will say the day before it released, I was talking to my mom and my sister, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I can't. I was like, I don't know what it's going to open. I don't know if I'm in a good headspace for it. I was like, I'm just not going to do it. And my sister said to me, she said, it's now or never. And you need to do this for you. She's like, you've been talking about it for so long. She said, I think it will empower you. She's like, remember how you felt when you recorded it? Because you walked away and you said, I felt so empowered. So she said, think how empowering it will be to put that out. And so then I decided, okay, let's do this, and released it. And I think one of the greatest things about it that I wanted to talk about is how my relationship with Sophia has been affected by it.
Really?
Because I wanted to make sure that it was something that my kids could listen to and feel proud of, or listen to and at least feel that they weren't scared of, or that they, mom wasn't saying anything bad about dad or anything like that,
Right.
And so I gave Sophia the opportunity to listen to it first before it was released. And it's opened a lot of really great conversations with her, because you forget that kids that age already hear about and think about very difficult topics, whether it's drinking, suicidal ideation, very difficult things. That age is already discussing it. That age is already thinking about it, seeing it, hearing it. And so it's opened conversation for us that I'm so thankful to have.
Because kids are smarter than people give them credit for. Like, they know what's going on. They may not know the details, but they know something's not right or something's going on. So in those conversations, I'm sure there were tears and laughter, but to see her look back at you probably in an empowered way herself, right?
Yeah, and I will say one of the things I learned in treatment about kids is if you don't give them the information, they will make up their own story.
Yeah.
They'll create their own narrative in their head. So if mom is depressed or mom goes to whatever it is, if you don't tell them why and give them information, as much appropriate information as possible, they could make up, it's my fault, what did I do? And kids will make up their own narrative. They will build their own army to protect themselves. They will do all that. So the best thing you can do is give them as much appropriate information as possible and arm them with resources so that they will talk to you, and so that they do not make up those stories as if they're their own fault.
I appreciate this conversation. I want to keep it going. Why don't you two just catch your breath momentarily and remind you we're coming from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. When I was listing our shows earlier, I forgot a couple, of course. Mike Grimm with the Go Gopher podcast. Check that out. Also, Michael Russo, Anthony LaPanta with the Worst Seats in the House podcast. Check those out as well. We want to thank longtime sponsor, more important, longtime supporter of women's sports, Rudy Luther Toyota.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty, and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit rudyluthertoyota.com today.
Another Minnesota company doing great things, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota, or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. I am happy that Minnesota Masonic Charities has chosen Minnesota Bound and this podcast as a place to help spread the word. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
Now, Dawn's favorite ad
Here we go.
Here we go. Natrium,
He gets so happy when he talks about it.
Natreum.com. I said it on another show today when I was talking about Natrium. First of all, there are a bunch of Natriums and wildflowers. There's guaranteed to be one near you in the metro area. There are 2 within walking distance from me. Went there last week with my wife, and I'm old, so I get restless legs sometimes at night. Sometimes my legs ache at night. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. Sometimes I have joint pain, all that stuff, right? And I used to take like 5 different things trying to mitigate all that. I found a product at Natrium called Goodnight Moon. It basically does all of those things.
Like the book.
It's exactly. Just like the book that I used to read to my
Can
daughters.
someone come and hold you?
Yes. Well, yeah. So I'm married, so somebody should come and hold me. No, but it's called Goodnight Moon. But the thing is, that's what works for me. But if you go into a Natrium or a Wildflower, you'll see literally hundreds of products, whether it's balms, oils, gummies, drinks, different kinds of drinks, and something's going to work for you. Whether you're looking for pain relief, relaxation, fun, sleep, whatever. I use it mostly for sleep. Go check it out. Goodnight Moon worked for me. Something else will work for you. Natrem. I'm so bad at that. Natreum.com. You can go to the stores. You can also order it online. I highly recommend it. Dawn, take it away.
Carly, you mentioned something about kids creating their own narrative, because I'm like, oh, I think I totally did that. Growing up,
Yeah,
you're like, oh, it's
course.
this and that, and it's this. And I don't know if it's the majority of the time. I don't have any stats on it. So my question is, their stories that they can come up with are worse,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point.
right?
Yeah.
So
They
when you
will-
tell them, they're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's a relief, right?
Yeah. That and again, yeah, because they will go, because kids just don't have the capacity to understand what we understand, right? So theirs goes to a very dramatic spot, like I did, like I'm wrong, I'm bad, I did something for mom, or mom's not okay. Like they will go to a really probably extreme because they don't have the ability to see multiple options. Kids just don't. And so their brains aren't functioning like that yet. And so again, it's the more information that you can give them, the better.
One talent of yours that I love, whenever I'm seeing on social media, I'm like, first of all, I don't know how she finds the time or has the energy. You create beautiful things. Like every time you have a birthday party for one of your children, your photo shoot ready, first of all, because you're all looking gorgeous, but you just put on these events and your home looks beautiful. So I don't have that. To be like, okay, I'm going to make this event look like this and have a vision for it. And it's beautiful. Is it something you love to do?
Yeah, I would say it's been almost like a creative outlet for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but during the pandemic, I was building those mini play homes. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
I was building these the little play homes that kids play in, but I would custom design them to be like little houses. And I've always loved the creativity of things like that. Like I'll build, for Sophia's homecoming, I built like a little backdrop for them to take pictures at for homecoming. And so, yeah, it brings me a lot of joy to do that stuff. And so I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, I have to do this for my kids or they want this specific thing. But I just there's a lot of creativity. I'll come up with a theme or I'll come up with an idea. And then I really like to execute it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of an outlet for me and something I enjoy.
When I saw those mini ones, thank you for bringing that up, because I do remember thinking, I want to get a she shed.
I know.
And I want Carly to design my she shed. Not that I have a real big backyard or anything like that, but
They were so fun. Yes. They would all have a theme, like a lemonade stand or lemonade. I don't know. It was fun. I had a blast. And then I would give them away to charities to auction off.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Masonic had actually auctioned off a couple of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Masonic. That was going to be the next thing I brought up, because I still love going into that studio
I know.
that is there. The last time I was there, I think Cam Bynum Blake Pearl, they were there singing Christmas carols in the studio. And kids would call down from their rooms. If you're not familiar, it's a TV studio in the Masonic Children's Hospital, donated by you and Jason, and it's beautiful. And the kids would call down, can you play Jingle Bells, but in a fun way, you know, from their rooms. And I've been there a couple of times now. It's such a unique thing, but it's such a beautiful thing. So you always have a giving heart, both you and Jason and your families, to give back. Where did that come from?
For me, it came from my parents. My parents were constantly, in little ways, without any recognition at all, wanting to help and give back to people in our worlds. They didn't need recognition. They weren't doing it on big scales, but they were just doing what they could to help people in our worlds. And so I saw them both give back a lot growing up. And then when I felt like I had the platform to do more was when I really wanted to take advantage of doing something on a bigger scale, because I was like, we're given this gift of, you know, influence and finances, and I thought to not take advantage of that and do something good with that is a mistake. And so, I mean, the programming right now, there's all day programming at the Zucker Family Suite and Broadcast Studio. It goes from morning to night, and they do yoga and morning news and Lego games, all sorts of stuff. It's really fun.
I know. You go in there and on the side, Zucker Studios, or it's just beautiful. Every time I go in there, I just smile.
Yeah.
And you can tell the kids love it too, and the people who run it. It's a joy.
Yeah. It brings a lot of escape, I think. Also for, because kids can go down and record their own videos, or they can go down and do certain things. And it's an escape because a lot of the levels you're on at the hospital, if you go into them and you want to stay busy, they're made for maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, you know, like, but there's not a lot for older kids. So Rudolph's space to go play in down there. And then our space is built for a little bit of an older crowd. So that helps siblings that are there, or the patients that are there that are a little bit older and things like that.
It is cool when you mention like the Rudolph play area, that the athletes and their families and people, you guys become communities too, that you don't see it in other cities.
Yeah.
That, you know, you can walk down a hallway at Masonic and be like, okay, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this. And then you all become either friends or stay in touch, do things on different capacities. That is unique, I think.
It is, yeah. And I think it has to do a lot with the people who run the programs here, and how they get people involved. And then hopefully you find the right people with the right nature to pull it off. When
you open yourself up, and you coming on here is an example, whether it's your own podcast, whether it's when you go on KFan, I mean, when you open yourself up, do you get the positive feedback? Like there's like, wow, thank you for being so strong to say that. You've changed my life.
I have been shocked at the number of messages I've received from this podcast I launched, that have been so emotional, that have been, you know, my wife suffers from something like this and I didn't understand her, but hearing you say it helped me understand where she's coming from. Or I was in a really dark place and you inspired me to get a therapist again. Or I felt like I was the only one who felt this way. Or, you know, or I have an uncle who we're trying to get into treatment, and so you gave us some ideas on where to go, you know, things like, but the number of emotional and well thought out, just meaningful messages I've, not just, oh, this was good.
Right.
But just meaningful messages I've received from people is been wild.
Because I was just thinking, yes, it's grand to have the Zucker suites, or it's grand to, you know, give back in a huge capacity, but you don't realize how powerful you on your own, are enough.
Yeah.
And the changes you can do without money, with just your voice and your honesty.
Yes. And just your story. Because everybody has one. every single person has a story. And I'm a big believer in like trauma's not comparable. Stories aren't comparable. Like yours doesn't have to be like the worst case scenario for it to be meaningful. You know, I think trauma is trauma and your story is your story. And I think people relate to that and to your authenticity of telling it and your honesty. And so I think that nobody should ever be like, well, my trauma wasn't quite as bad as this person, so I shouldn't feel that bad. No,
it affects your life.
That's how it affected you. And how did you cope with it? You know, that is what's important. And so I think that's something else that's been really important for me to spread as well, is that don't feel bad if you feel like yours isn't bad enough. It doesn't need to be anything specific, you know.
How do you lift yourself up when there's like a heavy session? You know, it is like therapy, right? So you're having a whole therapy session and you're opening yourself up again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I still am on a bit of a roller coaster trying to figure out how to get emotionally kind of like that happiness day to day.
Yeah.
I struggle still a bit. But I have, like I said, I have resources in the sense that like my sister's basically a life coach.
She's amazing.
You've met my sister, and she is incredible. And I mean, the kids and my parents. And so I am really surrounded by a lot of love. And that helps keep me going and pick me up. And that's helpful.
What do listeners have to look forward to? Because now they're ravenous for you, right? They want more. So you can have like guests on to talk about it and experts. What's your vision?
So that's the hope. So the next conversation I'll be having is actually going to be with my sister. Nice. Because we want to talk about what it's like to be the support person in these situations, because how difficult it is. And again, so many messages I've received is my husband, my wife, my friend is going through this. So we can't downplay how stressful and how much time and how emotional it is for the support person. So I want to talk to my sister about what it's been like for her, because she's really been there for me every day. And then also we'll talk to an expert about what they can provide and what you can provide and support. What are some of the practical, like logistical things somebody can take as steps? Because again, being the support person is no joke. It is a really, really difficult thing. And a lot of times we look at the person struggling and we're like, well, we want to be there for them. And that person struggling, oh, poor them. But the support people in these situations are also, it is also very, very difficult.
Because I think, you get in that situation where like, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Oh my God. My family's gone through that
thing?
so much. Yeah. Are we doing the right thing? Have I done the right thing? Am I doing enough? All of that. And so we're going to have that conversation this week.
Oh, nice.
And then I also want to have a child psychologist on to talk about how these things do affect our children, and what we can do to help them, because, substance abuse, mental health, and those things affect our kids and how we parent our kids. And I have taken a lot of pride in being a good mom, but I want to always be the mom they deserve. And I think hearing from a child psychologist on what this does to kids if we don't get help, that's really important, because if we go untreated our whole lives, that can really, that affects our kids then long term, And so, but you can be in recovery and you can be getting help and you can be a great parent. And so what does that look like for them? And also, how can we help protect them and give them the tools they need to be successful with living with stuff like this?
For someone who's listening right now and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can't put their finger on it.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm not there yet, or I'm not. What are signs? Maybe everyone's different.
Yep.
But what were signs for you that might be helpful for someone else to be like, okay, maybe I should make a phone call?
So one of the things that I always say, I think is pretty universal to what I've heard from people, and again, like you said, everybody's very different, is isolating. Is that we you stop answering phone calls, you stop seeing people, you stop wanting to engage in going out and activities, things you enjoyed. Isolating is a big red flag to someone who is struggling, because, and I would say to whoever, if you're their support person, just don't give up.
Yeah.
Like, try not to give up, because there'd be weeks where I would not talk to my family, and they never gave up. You know, I'd still hear from them every day. And so I think isolating is probably the number one thing that I hear from people with substance attached or not, whether it's just mental health or not, that is a red flag for trouble. Yeah.
You're so brave.
Oh, thanks.
I know you're getting me all
trying.
misty here. I really want to thank you.
Yeah.
For
Thank you.
not only coming on here, but to have, while you're going through something, an open heart to help others. That does not happen every day.
Thank you.
And if you feel like you're isolating, you can just call me
you.
too.
Yeah. I know. And that's, I'm trying to get better at, instead of isolating, calling the people, because I have great people in my life, and I just need to make the effort to get out. So.
Well, you're a shining example.
I love you guys. Yeah.
Being honest and open and taking it day by day, because people think, oh, I went to one, I should be fine tomorrow. It is a process.
For the rest of my life, it will be a process. Yes. Yes.
Carly Zucker, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can have you back.
I would love to. Oh my gosh.
And where can people find your podcast so that they can hear and listen?
So it's herewegopodcast.com is the website, and that has all the links to listen. I would say that's the best place to go. So just herewegopodcast.com.
And watch her social media if you want to get inspired to, or feel really lacking when it comes to. I am saying that in a joking way, but I'm like, it's so inspiring, because I'm like, oh, I should do that for my friends for their birthday. And so I have stolen a couple of your ideas.
Good, I love it. No, that's
look
the
at that
point.
flower background.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I love it. I love it.
But,
yeah, that gives me a little bit of an outlet for creativity, so it's good. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're just a beautiful person.
Adore you.